Alright, so in this tutorial, we're going to talk a little bit about expressions. And expressions in general, it comes to, at least as in cartooning goes, it's knowing the rules are what allow you to bend and break the rules. So that being said, if I know how to draw a human head proportionately, so I'll put my nose here, divide that in half, and there's my mouth, and there's my, divide that in half, and there's my bottom lip, my chin. Here's an eye. Here's an eye. An eye difference in between them, so here's an eye, and here's an eye. Eyebrow, eyebrow. Alright, so yeah, again we're kind of saying to ourselves, alright, we know how to break down the human form into a realistic shape. So expressions, we understand that expressions come from, I think, a root of 6 expressions. Everything else is just like subtle differences of what expressions are. Variations of those things. So yeah, expressions, at least in cartooning, simple is better. If you start putting too many lines into your faces in general, it starts looking really busy. You start doing what they call aging the character, and so you really kind of don't want that. And when we know the rules, we can bend the rules and break the rules, and so that's what allows us, at least in cartooning, since cartooning is based off of exaggeration anyway. I could take these eyes and I could really bug them out, but keeping in mind that I'm still basing it off the same proportions of my head. Same things. I can move the nose up if I wanted. So maybe the nose is wrinkling a little bit. Maybe I've got this character who's kind of yelling. And then some of expression comes from just kind of posing yourself and looking at what faces or how your face behaves. And so in this case, I might add a little more down here to the chin. And I'll even keep that line going up past the chin so that it starts looking like chin is dropping and I've got some skin going on in there. And since, again, it's going to be thick to thin, now I can draw this character that is now, shouting or screaming or something like that. So, yeah, you just kind of got to really kind of pose yourself sometimes, or nowadays with technology, take a photo of yourself making the expression. But with cartooning, simple lines, the fewer lines, the better. Not only pushes you to knowledge and memory of how this all works, but so that you can draw it on your own. But it also can communicate a lot. You communicate more with less is basically what we're saying here. Is you communicate more with less. And so and that might have some line for the eyelids up here. I draw in the bridge of my nose a little bit. There we go. And I could do, any number of things. I could make these even more exaggerated. The way I was taught is, particularly with cartooning, is why Mickey Mouse works, why cartoons work, like cartoons, characters with 4 fingers and things like that, they work is because the artist understands how real anatomy works. And if you looked at like their sketchbooks, you would see it. They could draw it realistically. And so Mickey Mouse and all these kind of characters work because the artist understands how it works in real life. And so their fingers, even though they have 3 fingers, it bends and moves just like we would expect it to move. And so I could give him more of a cartoony nose. This is what now allows me, again, I can move that nose up. I'm going to bring that chin down. Again, this cheek muscle brings it down to here. Now I'm going to really stretch this mouth out. I can see the bottom of the teeth there. Might give a little bit of the eyelid, so. And so expressions, like I was saying, is that knowing how the face is constructed obviously gives you some of it. Knowing the rules are what allow you to bend and break the rules, and then that's where you can take and bend and break the rules even further, and you can capture more with less. As far as lines and expressions go, you don't need a whole lot of lines on there because you don't want to age the character any, unless it's supposed to be an old person. So yeah, that's pretty much it as far as expression goes. Study your own expressions. There's tons of resources out there for expressions, but just know it's knowing the rules allow you to push the rules and then push the rules even further.